Okay, so like we're all kind of fascinated by this whole "are we alone in the universe" thing, right?
Yeah.
So today we're diving into the Fermi Paradox.
Yeah.
And it basically asks, like, if there's so much potential for life out there,
Uh-huh.
why haven't we, like, bumped into anyone yet?
It's a great question. And we got a whole bunch of research on this.
Yeah.
Going to try and cut to the chase and
Yeah.
give you the core ideas.
Exactly. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
So way back in 1950, this physicist, Enrico Fermi,
Yeah.
he was just having lunch with some other scientists
Right.
and just casually throws out there, where is everybody?
Mm.
And, even back then, people were talking about UFOs and interstellar travel and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, he hit on something really important.
Absolutely.
Like, if space is so big and old,
Uh-huh.
shouldn't there be tons of civilizations out there?
Yeah.
And if so,
Right.
where's the proof?
And that question that Fermi sort of just threw out there, it got picked up more formally in 1975
Oh,
by this astronomer, Michael H. Hart.
okay.
And his argument was that, even if civilizations are traveling relatively slowly through space,
Yeah.
given the age of our galaxy,
Right.
they should have had, way more than enough time to colonize pretty much everything by now,
Yeah, that makes sense.
which means, we should be seeing them,
Exactly.
We should have run into somebody by now.
Yeah, so then there's this famous equation called the Drake equation.
Right.
And it tries to calculate the odds of finding other intelligent life.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And even when you're, super conservative with the numbers you plug in,
Yeah.
it still suggests that we shouldn't be alone.
Like, statistically speaking,
Totally.
it just doesn't add up. And, like,
Yeah.
the SETI Institute even says that colonizing the galaxy could happen, like, way faster than you'd think.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily take billions of years.
Right. Exactly.
So for you, the paradox boils down to this. On paper, there should be other civilizations, but in reality, we've got zero proof. It's that tension that makes this whole thing so interesting.
Totally. So let's get into some of the possible explanations for this.
Okay.
One idea is the rare Earth hypothesis.
Right.
And it basically says that maybe basic life is pretty common,
Yeah.
but the kind of conditions you need for intelligent life to evolve,
Uh-huh.
like having a stable climate,
Yeah.
the right kind of planet,
Mhm.
a big moon, all these things,
Right.
maybe those are incredibly rare.
It's possible.
So we might just be a fluke.
Yeah. What's really cool about that idea
What?
is it suggests that, the path to intelligence, the way we understand it, might not be the normal way. It could be that, a whole bunch of crazy coincidences had to happen for us to even exist.
Whoa.
Right?
So then there's the great filter theory.
Ah, yes.
This one's kind of intense.
It is.
So imagine there are all these hurdles that life has to overcome to reach the point where it can travel between stars.
Yeah.
And the big question is, have we already passed the hardest hurdle?
We're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Or is it still ahead of us?
Right. Like, is there something out there that wipes out civilizations once they reach a certain level?
It's a chilling thought, isn't it?
Definitely.
I mean, this guy, Robin Hanson, who came up with this idea,
Yeah.
he listed all these steps, forming stars,
Okay.
getting self-replicating molecules, simple life, complex life,
Right.
and eventually space travel.
Yeah.
And for you, the challenge is figuring out where that bottleneck might be. Is it behind us, which means we're super lucky to have made it?
Yeah.
Or is there a giant cosmic stop sign waiting for us in the future?
I don't even want to think about that.
I know, it's heavy stuff.
Okay, so then we have the self-destruction theories, which
Yes.
are also pretty scary.
Yeah.
But basically, what if every civilization eventually reaches a point where they just wipe themselves out?
Yeah.
Like nuclear war,
Mm-hmm.
climate change,
Mm-hmm.
some crazy AI takeover.
Right, runaway technology.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it really makes you think about the choices we're making right now, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Are we on a path to self-destruction?
Yeah.
Or can we actually learn from, potential mistakes of other civilizations?
Right.
That's the big question.
And then there are the ideas that say aliens are out there, but we just haven't found them yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they're deliberately avoiding us.
Oh, the zoo hypothesis.
Yeah, we're just some interesting experiment they're watching from afar.
Like a cosmic reality show.
Exactly.
Kind of creepy, but interesting.
Or there's the dark forest theory.
Yeah.
Which is super intense.
It is.
It says that all civilizations are staying silent because they're terrified of being attacked.
It's everyone's hiding in the dark,
Yeah.
afraid to make a sound.
Right.
Because any sign of life could attract unwanted attention.
Yeah, so it's like a giant cosmic game of hide and seek.
Exactly. And the stakes are incredibly high. And then, you also have to consider that maybe they're communicating in ways we just don't understand yet.
Like what?
Well, maybe they're using neutrinos or gravitational waves.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe they only send out signals for a very short period of time.
Like a tiny window.
Yeah, exactly.
So we could just be missing them.
It's possible.
Okay. And there's also the idea that maybe interstellar travel is just way harder than we think.
Right. It might be so difficult and expensive
Yeah.
that it's just not practical for most civilizations to do it.
Mm.
So they might be out there,
Yeah.
but they're stuck on their own planets,
Right.
unable to reach us.
Okay. And then we've got the simulation hypothesis,
The big one.
which says that maybe our whole reality is just a computer program.
Yeah, a giant simulation.
Right.
And if that's true,
Yeah.
then the question of where is everybody takes on a whole new meaning.
Totally.
Like maybe the program just hasn't generated any other civilizations yet.
Whoa.
Or maybe they exist, but they're in a different part of the simulation.
Mind-blowing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so all these exoplanets we're discovering,
Yeah.
like planets outside our solar system,
Right.
they're showing us that habitable planets are actually pretty common,
Yeah, they're everywhere.
which makes the paradox even stronger.
Exactly, because if there are so many potential homes for life,
Yeah.
why haven't we found any evidence of it yet?
Right.
It's a real head-scratcher.
Okay, so what about SETI, like the search for extraterrestrial intelligence?
Well, we're making progress there.
Yeah.
We've got amazing tools like the Allen Telescope Array and Breakthrough Listens,
Okay.
and we're using AI to analyze huge amounts of data, looking for any unusual signals.
Right.
We're even looking for things like Dyson spheres.
What are those?
Oh, they're these hypothetical megastructures
Okay.
that advanced civilizations could build around stars to capture their energy.
Whoa, that's wild.
It is.
So we're looking in distant galaxies now.
Yeah, we're casting a really wide net.
Okay, so are there any like new theories coming out?
Oh, yeah, there are, actually.
those?
Well, some researchers are saying that when you take all the uncertainties into account,
Huh.
the probability of us being alone might be higher than we initially thought. It's a controversial idea, but it's definitely worth considering.
Okay.
And then there's the whole question of AI and how it might change the game.
Yeah.
Like maybe AI becomes the dominant form of intelligence in the universe.
Right.
And maybe those AI civilizations don't behave the way we expect them to.
Like maybe they don't want to colonize other planets, or they communicate in ways we can't even imagine.
Exactly.
Okay. And then there's the idea that maybe sustainability is like a natural limit to expansion.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe civilizations realize that constantly expanding and consuming resources is unsustainable. So they choose to stay within their own solar systems,
Right.
living in balance with their environment.
So it's not that they don't exist,
Yeah.
it's that they're deliberately choosing not to expand.
Right, exactly. So for you, all of this has some pretty big implications.
Like what?
Well, if there really is a great filter out there,
Uh-huh.
we need to understand it like right now,
Why?
because our survival might depend on it.
Oh.
We need to be aware of the potential threats to our own civilization.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if life is truly rare in the universe,
Yeah.
that changes how we should approach space exploration. Do we have the right to spread out and potentially disrupt other ecosystems?
Right.
Or should we be more cautious?
It's a big ethical question.
It is.
And then if we really are the only intelligent life out there,
Yeah.
that's a lot of responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility.
To like preserve our knowledge,
Yeah.
our culture.
Our history.
Yeah, everything that makes us human.
Exactly.
Wow, so the Fermi Paradox is still a huge mystery, but I feel like I have a much better understanding of it now.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
And, Arthur C. Clarke said 2 possibilities exist.
Yeah.
Either we are alone in the universe or we are not.
Right.
Both are equally terrifying.
He's a smart guy.
So now I have a question for you.
Okay.
Of all the solutions we've talked about,
Yeah.
which one do you find the most compelling?
That's a great question.
And like why?
Yeah. Think about it. What resonates with you the most?
It's a lot to think about.
It is, but it's worth pondering.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Take care.